end of the day. So these are our gross profit. But before we prepare, you know, I told you the other time that we prepare income and expenditure, which is the bar profit and all the other. But before we do that, we are going to prepare expenses here. So just bring the gross profit, just bring it forward here before we prepare our income and expenditure. You have 541. Now, if you look at the question, there is we are given what we call general expenses, and that is if you look at it, there is an information which says sundry expenses, which is 209. If you look at the question, you see 209. So that is a sundry expenses. Now, I haven't done that. Then we write just the bar sundry expenses. The reason why we are preparing this is that it relates to information under bar account. So it has to do with information about bar account. So that's why we are preparing it under the bar trading account. And in the card book we have 144. Now let's look at the information here. We are given sundry expenses, which is 65. If you look at it, we are given 65 under 31/12/1995. What this is trying to tell you is that there is what we call it accruals, and the reason being that it is accruals, it is a liability to the company, to the organization. So it is accruals because it is in the closing balance. So this is how we are going to do it. If you add this plus this, it will give you 209. Now let us now get our net profit at the end of the day. So our net profit is gross profit minus 209. We have 332. So at the end of the day we have 541. So we balance it, we have 541. The reason why we prepare it, as I've said the other time, is that it has something to do with bar. So in as much it has something to do with bar, it has to be you have to put it under bar expenses, unlike that of income and expenditure. So it relates to anything that has to do with bar, because bar account, trading account, is prepared separately from income and expenditure account, because it is the trading activity of that non-profit making organization. So having gotten this, that net profit will now be our bar profit. So, and that is 332. So let's begin to prepare the expenditure, and we track it from our receipt and payment. We track it from our receipt and payment, because you know that, as I've said, any account you prepare in the card book must have the separate account where you prepare them. So let's start from donation. Donation is a receipt, so it becomes income here, because the organization wants to know whether they have surplus or they have a deficit at the end of the day. So 34. Then don't forget, in the question there is what we call receipt from the user. There is an information that has to do, but before we do that, let me quickly go to social. Now, do you know that social has what we call it has additional information. That one, the one of receipt and payment is 233. Now, let us now look at the information in the balance sheet. Now, before we proceed, I want to give you some hints about how you prepare, how to less or add owings when you have two balance sheets. Just listen very careful. Now, here, when you are given opening balance sheet, this is opening balance sheet, and you are given closing balance sheet. Now, anything that has to do with prepaid, just listen very careful, and the accruals or advance or owing, this is how you do it. If you know there are some information that relates to maybe rent in advance or owing, and you are given the question and you want to adjust it in the income and expenditure account. Now, what you will do here is that if you are given normal closing, the way we prepare trading profit and loss account is that when there is advance, you have a less. When there is accruals, you have the add, that is closing, the way we prepare it in the balance sheet. But when you come across non-profit organization and you are given two balance sheets, this is opening and this is closing, the normal one we use in the closing is this. But if it is opening, reverse is the case, you add that of advance and you less that of owing, and that will assist you when you are given. You will still come across it in a single incomplete record where you have the two opening balance, so it will assist you. So if you are given, so let's say you are given rent 40 naira, and you are given opening balance, rent in advance, opening and closing, rent in arrears, opening and closing. What we do is that you add that of opening, you less that of closing in that information. Let's say you have rent 40 naira in the information already. You just add 40 naira, and you have a 30-year, 20-year, 10-year, 20-year. What we just do is that this 40 rent, you had that of opening balance, which is advance, then you less closing balance of advance, then that of owing, you less it, and that of closing balance, you add it. So it will now give you the total rent at the end of the day. So that is how we adjust for in the. I want to give you so that you won't be confused that how did they prepare this, how did they prepare that in the account. So that is how you prepare it in the information. So we've done justice to donation, we've done something to bar, and like I told you the other time, the reason why it is prepared under here is that it has something to do with bar. That is why it is a bar expenses. That's why we get our net profit, and we bring our net profit as bar profit in the income and expenditure. Now, donation we have 34. You see that those items are picked one after the other in the receipt and payment. Now, social. Let's look at it in the. If you see your social here is a 233. You put social here. So then look at another information. Receipt from user of club facility. Don't forget receipt from users. This is how we adjust for it. Don't forget that in the information we have a receipt from user of club, we have the facility in advance, we have opening and closing, we have owing by user of club facility, we have a 778 and 65. How do you go about it? The technique I gave you the other time, that is how you are going to use to solve it, because the people that are using the facility, they paid in advance, and they also owe at the end of the day. So we first know the first information we get is the items of that of receipt and payment, which is 1780. So 1780. Then now let's go to the information. The receipt of club in advance, that of advance, the tactics I gave you the other time is that you add opening, then you let start of closing. That of closing is 6, 5, 7. Then let's look at owing. Owing by user of club it also has something to do with the receipt from user, because you want to know the amount that was received from user at the end of the day. So you let closing, opening owing is 7, you less it, and closing owing you had it, which is 6, 5, 7. So if you add it, you have 1, 1, 6, 8. So this is the main, we are given additional information and we have to adjust for it in the question. So that is that on the income side. Now, expenditure side, you know that we have different adjustments here. We have a comprehensive additional information which it has to be adjusted for. Now, let's first go to water. Water is an expenditure. Water in the receipt side of receipts and payments, we have a 38. We have 38. That is the